What up, and welcome to Creeps of the Crypt, a podcast dedicated to reviewing a TV series from 1989, hosted by two men in their middle ages. I'm your host, John, and along with me is my co-host,
Other Alan. Glad to be back. I know it just took some time off there, and you got some filler there for you. I didn't even know. They telling me about the Tales from the Crypt movie.
Yeah, I didn't know about it either. I forgot what I was watching. I was watching something, and they said that there was a movie in the 70s, but they didn't refer to it as having to do with just the name. So I was like, oh. So I looked it up, and I didn't look up anything. I just looked up the movie, found it, and I was like, let me see. Let's do this. Let's see if this works. People might be pissed at me because it might have nothing to do with Tales from the Crypt besides the name. But I did it, and it was. And I was like, this is awesome. I was kind of excited about it. And now somebody told me in the comments of that video that there's a sequel to that movie. So it's a Vault of Horrors to Tales from the Crypt. So I'm like excited. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do that one. I'm gonna do that one too. But so before I ask how you've been, I started a Patreon page because people were complaining about locals. They're like, I don't want to sign up for something new, and I was like, well, it's like 2 seconds of your time, like it's not that much of a.
Yeah, it's not a long sign up process, guys. It's not like we're signing up and trying to get Social Security or something. This is pretty simple. I think it just asks your email or you can just connect with Google or
Stripe.
Facebook, I think.
Yeah, and then you can also use Facebook, yeah. And asks for your Stripe. I don't think they take PayPal, because the whole purpose of locals was to avoid Patreon, because Patreon was doing, like, if they don't like what you talk about, I don't like censorship in any form. So that's why I didn't want to go through Patreon, because at one point they were censoring and saying they were going to withhold money from their creators if their creators said something they disliked. So because of that, I was like, oh, I don't want to use Patreon. I decided to do locals for my Ghost Crusaders TV stuff. So I was like, I'll just incorporate that with the Creeps of the Crypt. But it should be separate, I guess, it's because people that listen to the podcast aren't going to watch all the videos because they like the podcast or to listen to the podcast. So I'm starting it. It's not up yet. I'll let you guys know when it's up. Yeah, besides that, how have you been, man?
Been good. Took some time over the week or so, just to take some time. I went to California for a little bit and went to go to a concert. I wanted to see this Japanese metal band Love Bites, so I got to see them live and check out the beach for a little bit over the weekend. So that's why we had that week off, and we had that filler episode for the lovely people at home.
Yeah, you've always been into this Japanese thing. Did you have a girlfriend that was Japanese? You lived in Japan, right?
No, I didn't have a girlfriend that was Japanese, but
I
went on vacation, but I wasn't living there.
But your last girlfriend looked Japanese. She wasn't. I remember looking at her pictures like, maybe that's why he likes. Because you're always posting like ramen and shit. Before we used to talk to each other years ago, like when I was 20 and he was like a teenager, and then like we would just look at each other's stuff and talk here and there sporadically, and then we started talking again. But during that time period when I was just looking at him like, I didn't know he must like Japanese girls. So I would see like these girls on your stuff, so that's why I asked. But your last one, she kind of did look Japanese, but then again, so you look Japanese too. People might think you're Japanese or Asian. That's why you're Other Alan, because.
All right.
Yeah, that's why you're Other.
Yeah, I get that a lot. I had the mixed look to me, but nah, I'm just Mexican, born here in 91 baby over here.
Yeah.
But no, it was I always liked Japanese culture, so I'm glad I got to travel to Tokyo and Osaka those separate times I did. So that was like ages ago. I was around 2017, I think, last time I went over there. Yeah. And yeah, you were surprised though, when we started talking again, because we had, known each other for a while from, a movie website.
Yeah.
The big community there at the time.
Back in the day.
It's crazy because the internet, it's like we've experienced it, you and I at least, because like I grew up on a XP machine in like 2000s. I was like, I don't know, like 11 or so at the time. So we've seen it grow, and it's there was a lot of those old communities you missed that were really. You can't really repeat that these days.
That was a good one. And then I remember when YouTube was differently designed too. It was kind of like your homepage
Oh yeah.
was like that website was like your own Facebook. The Facebook like dominated so much that everyone just went to that because first it was just for college kids. You couldn't get on Facebook unless you were in college, right? Or you had a college email. Then
Yeah.
that's why MySpace was popular. Everyone was using MySpace. You could have your own record player, little playlist on the left side of your MySpace so people knew what you were about, kind of. You could design your wall. It was fun. You put your top 8s and you could change it every day or whatever. And then
Oh yeah.
and then they have Friendster. I never used that one. But then Facebook decided, oh, we want all the money, so we're just going to let everyone join. And then it just became everyone's new thing. We've seen the internet drastically change because I remember dial-up internet. Nobody could call my
Yeah,
house.
nobody. I tried to explain that to like a 26-year-old the other day. Yeah, it's just like the whole concept there. You feel so old from between that 10-year gap. Like, so we didn't grow up on cell phones, so it's a lot of TV and games to play. So it's different now. A lot of the tablet kids, how we're dependent on it. They're on these days.
I had my own website.
I know firsthand.
In 1996 or 7. I think 98 actually. I built my own website knowing nothing about anything.
Oh yeah.
And I had a website and it's still up. I'm not gonna say where it is. I looked it up the other day and I'm like, oh my god, why is it still up? I was like, how do I get this taken down? I was like, oh, it was most of it's plagiarized from other websites because I was like 12 years old. So I'm just like copying and pasting from other websites I could find. And it was about horror films. So I was just like to write about horror movies. I loved horror when I was a kid. But anyway, we're here to talk about Tales from the Crypt. I'm gonna have to talk to you later about something else. So remind me.
Sure.
So this is season 3, episode 11 of Tales from the Crypt. It aired August 7th, 1991, and it's called Split Second. It was written by Richard Christian Matheson. He wrote, I was looking at his IMDb. He wrote, the first thing that stuck out right away, and you've probably never seen it, is called 3 O'Clock High. The guy in it is one of Biff Tannen's goons. He has the glasses, the 3D glasses in Back to the Future.
Hey, beat it, Spook. This don't concern you.
And in this movie, he runs like a not library, like a student's shop. And he touches somebody, he touches this kid that just transferred in. Like he kind of awkwardly, when the kid walked in, he's like known to be like the worst kid ever.
His name's Buddy Revell.
So he goes to use the urinal and then I don't know what happens for why, but this kid touches his shoulder, says, sorry about that or something. And then the guy just looks slow motion at his hand and he goes, at 3 o'clock, I'm gonna kill you or whatever. So the whole movie's about him trying to get out of this. And then he tries to rob his own store, right? So he could pay a football player money to beat him up. And the football player goes to beat him up. The bully almost kills the football player. And then he's like, he looks at him, he knows it was set up by him. He does all these things to try to get the kid in trouble. At the end of the day, he has to fight the bully. So it was like a Ferris Bueller. I don't mean like the two different movies. The kid doesn't break the fourth wall. But it's all about, the teenagers. And I think the girl in that movie is also in Ferris Bueller. That's why I think about Ferris Bueller. There's a girl, I think she's talking, I don't know. She was somewhat popular in the 80s, but she's in that movie. She's like his girlfriend. But yeah, that's the first one that stuck out. But he also wrote Knight Rider, The A-Team, Hunter, Amazing Stories. So he was he's a good writer, or he was a working writer. It's not like one of these guys that you just randomly got to write. It was directed by Russell Mulcahy. I had to Google how to pronounce his name. He directed, only thing I know he directed, I looked it up, I was looking through all his stuff, is Highlander. He directed Highlander, the first movie. I've never seen Highlander, actually. Surprisingly
That's
enough.
always one I've heard people talk about and kind of praise it, but I never got around to watching that one.
You know why I didn't watch it? Because when I was a kid, it It was a TV show on all the time, and I was like, what? And then I could never watch it because it would come on when something better was on a different channel. So like the TV show I'm talking about. But I think he directed the movie, so that's different. It stars Brion James, who you probably know more than me. I know he's been in a lot of things. I've seen him in things before, but like the only thing I saw that he was in Blade Runner, another 48 Hours. Oh, this is the one I know, Tango and Cash. I know him from Tango and Cash the most. And Michelle Johnson, who she was hot, especially this episode. She's hot in this episode. In this episode, yeah, she's hot. She was hot in general. She plays Liz Kelly Dixon, and she's most known for she does a lot of work, but and also Waxwork. That's a horror movie. It's classic. I loved it as a kid. So the kid from Gremlins. So I don't remember the whole thing. All I know is that they go to like this wax museum type deal. It's not really. It's in a house, and they go in, and then there's these little like stages. And once they pass through the velvet rope of the actual display, they transfer into it.
Gremlin star Zach Galligan invites you to join him in a comedy of terrors with Deborah Foreman of My Chauffeur and Blame It on Rio's Michelle Johnson.
Would you like a closer look? Really?
But whatever you do, don't step over the rope.
Welcome, my dear. We thought you were too tired to join us.
All right, I'm hypnotized.
Hey, not so fast.
Relax. Put on a cup of coffee. We'll talk about it.
I want out of here, Sarah. I'm serious.
Getting scared.
Do I get a pretty woman in my illusion? No, I get a dick.
It isn't real.
It was pretty cool, this movie idea. They should remake shit like this. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, why don't you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, that reduces the tiredness of some of these remakes of obvious films. Oh, I think I remember her from, I think she was in Death Becomes Her. And then I'm looking through her IMDb. I guess she was also in Dr. Giggle, so there's that correlation here with the other actor we've talked about.
I have not seen Larry Drake. I have not seen
Drake.
I've not seen Dr. Giggles, even though I owned it. I saw parts. I know he like that's all I know, but I have never seen it. Actually, I have to watch that.
I might actually give it a watch today.
Yeah,
see how it is.
It's terrible. I'm pretty sure it's terrible. Like, it's like it was like like horror was going downhill kind of at this point. I believe a little bit mainstream horror, and somehow I feel like this came out during Child's Play 3, Dr. Giggles, for some reason in my mind, and maybe for me, I thought horror was going down because I didn't like I think The Craft also came out around. Anyway, those are good, decent, but they're not my horror. My horror as a kid, I was into Suspiria. I was into Dawn of the Dead, the 70s version. I was into some gory shit that kids shouldn't see. Like, that's why there's I have a lot of issues, people, if you don't know. That's probably why. But yeah, I didn't like it. And then again, I don't know, something about the color grade of that movie too. I just never got into it. I did own it because I thought the cover looked cool. I don't know. Maybe I did see it, and it was just so forgettable that I completely forgot all about it. But to my recollection, I owned it and I never really watched it. And I had it on VHS. I wish my parents didn't get rid of all the VHS tapes I had, because I had a bunch. But why don't you tell us what the synopsis of this episode is?
It follows Michelle Johnson's character Liz, as you mentioned. She's kind of like I think she's like a waitress starting out in this episode, and you know she gets into relations with one of the folks there that frequents the bar after like she was being hit on by some guy, and you know they ended up kind of getting married and living a more kind of comfy life for her, and you know it kind of catches up to her. She starts to get bored, and you know kind of things start happening along the way. You know she's in this lumber camp full of dudes, and Steve Dixon over here is a very jealous man. Wants nobody to be looking at her, and that's kind of the setup of this episode without really getting too in depth before we get to the kind of the meat of the episode as we go through it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically pretty much it. It starts out with her working as a bartender and her giving her voiceover about exactly how she hates her job, how she works for like these but they're not hillbillies, they're just lumberjacks, but they travel to do this work. They get paid very well because the job's very dangerous. And she basically banged every single one of these guys because she's bored, she gets drunk, and now she's just tired because now they all constantly harass her. And they're constantly like, you know, wanting to bang
Oh yeah,
her.
she's got the reputation.
Yeah. She's got a reputation of being, what's he say in that episode?
You fucking whore!
Quickly becoming one of my favorite
I love it.
episodes
I love it.
of all time.
I
on the
used
show.
I used it recently for I did a review of a ranking of all the Texas Chainsaw videos, and there's a there's a movie in one of the movies. The guy he's traveling across country with his ex-girlfriend because she has to return her car to her father's because she's traveling out of the country, and she broke up with him because she needed time apart from him, and they meet a guy who's one of the family from Texas Chainsaw, but they don't know that because he's played by Viggo Mortensen. And he's very attractive, and he's like, "I'll buy you guys a drink if you'll take me, you know, across to New Orleans or whatever." And he goes, "Well, we can't do that." And then she goes, "Well, we can talk about it." And then he looks at her. And I played, you know,
You fucking whore!
I love it. It's the best. I want to make this a meme for the world to know. Like, that's my favorite. You know, but anyway.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So we were talking about how the customers at this bar are kind of touchy feely, or they want to bang her all the time. So one of them starts, you know, getting a little physical with her, and all of a sudden Dixon shows up to the rescue, and she's a whore in the sense that she's easy. She's an easy. I mean, she's in a small town, right? She has aspirations of bigger things that she wants to do. She wants to not be there or whatever. And she's had every single guy there and but she's in a town where all these people come to the town, all these men, and then, you know what I mean? Like, none of them are gonna take her away. They're all married, all these men. And the reason why they go to this bar is because that's why they attracted to her, because she's the only woman in like a fucking 100-mile radius from them. So Dixon shows up and he pulls out his gun. And he says, like, leave the lady alone. The guy takes out a knife to assault him. So Dixon pulls out his gun. He says, "Do you want to die tonight, boy?" And he leaves her alone. And then she becomes infatuated with him.
I wasn't exactly looking for a knight in shining armor, but I did like being fought over. Those days, I was getting offended a lot more than I was getting defended.
Apologize to the lady.
And then she ends up marrying him, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, we get a lot of her internal monologues throughout the episode. So she's just describing how turned on she is. Some guy was, fighting or beating the shit out of somebody for her, and yeah, like you said, I mean that's kind of what we're gathered so far about her is she's looking for higher aspirations, better dreams, but she's just stuck right now, blowing every lumberjack that comes through that bar. So it's kind of a kind of the opposite of a fairy tale story. That this is how it's gonna end up going. Not per se, but yeah, we'll get to it because the signs are there. This guy should have known better.
Yeah,
Steve Dixon here.
He fell in love with the one whore in the whole town, and they all tell him that. Well, they don't tell him. They all say that behind his back. They're all like, "Hey, did you hear? Dixon married that fucking tramp from the bar, that piece of shit hoe." He's like, "Really? Man, I fucked in her ass the other night. I can't believe he's married to her all of a sudden." Pretty much. I mean, that
right.
Guys do talk like. Oh, sorry, ladies, it's true. We do talk, and I know I curse too much. I'm trying to educate myself.
Women do the same. We all talk.
Yeah, but
it's that scene from that what's it called, with the Little Rascals remake, that had the boys and the girls talking about whatever. So it's just how it is. But yeah, it's clear that all the guys that work for Dixon here, they're all just clowning on him, dunking on him about all this, because all of them was pretty much banged it. It seems like
every single one. They go, "Oh man, he did not marry that walking STD." They do a pretty good job in making her just a woman that's just tired of where she is. She hates this small town. She wants to change in her life, so she ends up marrying this brute because she thinks that he's gonna help her change her feelings, escape this boredom that she has, and he brings her to where he lives, which is I guess right by where they cut all this wood and shit, all this timber, and the guys are like, hey, since you brought your wife, right? Because they all heard, so then he goes, yeah, it's true. Damn, word gets around fast around here, and he goes, well, since you brought your wife, now can we bring our wives, our girls up here? He goes, no, I'm sorry. Which doesn't make any sense. If they're all married, why not let them bring their own women? Unless
no, yeah, that's true. There's not a bunch of I guess real good reason why, just other than it's setting up for something bigger. We already kind of saw it. Him being paranoid as fuck about anybody talking about his wife, even the idea of banging his wife. He's ready to kill anybody.
Yeah, and then
he's just bringing oil to a fire at this point. This is gonna end up getting lit at some point.
Yeah,
all these dudes, and then Liz gets bored real easily. The honeymoon comes up to a winding halt there
right now
at some point.
Right now, because when he says no, he still can't have women. Only my wife is allowed up here. Which again, I guess this is going to be a good Brokeback Mountain 2 situation with lumberjacks if Hollywood wants. They could do this story, change it, and have two guys be like, I wish I could quit you, but your ass tastes so good. So like that, I think it would work. I can't believe Ang Lee directed that, the director of Hulk, and as a lot of Chow Yun-Fat films, right? But anyway, she shows up and she's not wearing anything sexy at all. She's not showing much of anything. She's got long legs. She's wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and the shorts aren't even short. They're nothing compared to, what you would think is sexy. And as soon as she shows up, they're whistling and hollering like cartoon characters from the 50s.
Steve, honey. Oh, there you are. Your breakfast is ready.
What the hell are you wearing?
What the fuck are you all staring at?
And then he looks at her. He's like, what the hell are you doing? And then she's like, what? I just told you your breakfast is ready. Or I think it was breakfast or lunch or something. And he's like, I don't want these son of a bitches staring at you. All right? Like he's very jealous. And then he goes to that. And he's the perfect casting to play this guy. Honestly, I think they did a really good job because he's big. He's scary, kind of, on film. And his
the actor's intense.
Yes,
he's good in Blade Runner.
Yeah, he's great in this too, I think. And then so it goes, you guys better act like gentlemen around my lady. And then the black guy goes up to one of the other guys and goes, some lady. This guy got a blowjob. Like really loud. And then he goes to the other guy, not the black guy who said it. And he's like, what'd you say?
I didn't say nothing. That's good. I thought I heard somebody say my wife sucked cock.
He has such a great line.
Yeah, he's like, no. He goes, the wind plays with you, right? The wind must play games with your ears. And then he looks back like, what the fuck did you you got me in trouble or whatever. And then Dixon just goes off. And you can see he's a hothead. Because he did, in the comic is different than it was in the show, technically. I don't think it started with him attacking anybody in the comic. If there was a guy that, there wasn't him attacking anybody in the comic. It was just him falling in love with her. He does attack, obviously, people in the comic, but not like this. It started with him hitting somebody. This one, it goes into somebody says something or whatever. And then the black guy defends him because he takes a fucking, I don't know, what was it, a knife or something, a pipe or something, and he puts it in the guy's mouth, and he says shoving it in his mouth, and there's blood all over, and he goes, is this what you said my wife does? Does she do this? And he was like,
trying to get him to suck on that knife, I guess.
And the black guy's like, Mr. Dixon, he was just playing around. That's all. He was just playing around. He didn't say shit. I would have been like, motherfucker, he said it.
Yeah.
And then
threw him under the bus, man.
Yeah. And then then he goes to the house to yell at his wife. And he's like, what did I tell you? I don't want you around those men. And she's like, what are you scared they're gonna fuck me better than you do? This episode's full of curses.
Oh, yeah.
If you're expecting me not to curse this episode, I apologize, but this episode is. So I guess he heard that and he got turned on, or he's like, ain't nobody can fuck you better than me. So he starts having sex with her, and I've had girls like this sometimes too, and it's so miserable.
That bad? Like she like
Not
on
like
that scene, yeah, she just looked
worse.
disinterested.
Yeah, this one
Just
was
looking
worse.
up in the ceiling.
She's just like, this was
As
just
he's
like
going on town
she's
on her.
like, but I've had girls that were just like, I'm like, damn, dude, like you must like why? And then you like totally, I'm like, okay, forget it, like forget it then. And I don't know if it's because we got into a fight, or but I've had that situation happen to me more than once, and I'm just like, oh, you suck. It's like, forget it. I just go to the bathroom, I'm going to shower. I'll be back in an hour.
Yeah, give me 5 minutes in the bathroom.
An hour.
Yeah, so again, I forgot what she says, but she has her internal monologue.
She says basically like it's not
Steve's going at it on her.
It's not the first time somebody like hate banged me, right? Like but it's the first time I disliked it or something like that. Like she's normally like had been into it, I guess, something like that. And then that's when we get we didn't even talk about him. We get our next character, Ted. I don't know if he's Ted in the episode. In the comic, his name is Ted. I think it might be Ted in the episode too. And he's played by, I actually mixed up. He's played by Billy Wirth. I looked up his IMDb, and he's just in a bunch of garbage. The only thing I know that he's been in that was somewhat good is Lost Boys, and I don't know who the hell he was in that. Oh, he was one of the vampires in Lost Boys. He has long hair in it. Oh my, or fake long hair. I don't know. I remember now. He is one of the vampires in Lost Boys. So, yeah. So he's a terrible actor. I think he's the one thing holding this down, pretty much. And they do something.
Yeah, he wasn't that great.
No.
Yeah, and he kind of gave off the vibes almost how that character was in the comic. Well, it's just because like it gave me those vibes. But yeah, it was more his performance wasn't good.
The problem is, in the comic, he's supposed to be a teenager, like 18. So here he's like 30.
young naive guy full of piss and vinegar,
Yeah. And in this he's older, but and also they did this whole thing, which it was in the comic. I understand it. We're in 1990, the comics of the 50s. So like he comes along, and they're like, and he's like, let's see if you can cut wood, right? Let's see if you can cut timber. You got this amount of time to do this, basically, whatever. So he gets on top of it. He goes, I don't use saws. And then he gets his axe, and then he starts chopping it like crazy, and everyone gathers around because he's so quick, and he does it, and this turns on.
Oh yeah, Liz just is hanging out near the tree back there, just getting turned on.
She's a fucking freak. Yeah.
Yeah. She's a sex fiend, so
yeah.
Steve knew how to choose him.
I don't know. Maybe that's why she decided to marry him, because he had money and he was the only one she didn't bang yet, I guess. And then now Ted comes along, and she's like a fucking dog in heat. Like she's like looking at him like behind the tree, like everything. And Mr. Dixon can see her, checking him out. He's great. He's like, I was like,
yeah,
no.
it's about, yeah, his facial expressions are spot on.
Mm-hmm. And then Teddy's like, he has no idea. He's like all exhausted, and he's like, everyone's around, and they're all like, "Oh man, that was so quick, kid." And then he kind of like shits on everybody's parade, and he's like, "What the fuck are all you people just standing around here for? Get back to work." And he goes, "You want the job, you got it, but you're not gonna waste your time with the fucking tournament," because they were talking about the tournament. They're like, "Oh, he's gonna be great for the tournament because they have a tournament of wood chopping, whatever." Which I think I've seen on like one of those strongman competitions. I think they do like a wood chopping thing. I don't know. I've seen something like that before. Mm-hmm. So they have a wood chopping competition thing. So they're like, "Oh, we're gonna win with this kid. This kid's amazing." And so he instantly becomes like one of the guys up there. He doesn't have to waste time because they all like him. And so he's supposed to be a kid, and he looks about 25. So I give it that. So he got the job. He says, "Cut that tournament shit. I don't want, I don't care about that. And if you're gonna cut, I think he says, if you're gonna cut wood on my whatever, you're gonna use a saw." So that for some reason, I don't know why he goes to the house, right?
No, yeah, that I know at some point he ends up going in there, but I don't know why he was there in the first place. But Yeah, Liz is there all horned up, trying to trying to seduce him.
Yeah.
It was good. It was just the typical lovers affair type deal. The young guy, new guy in town shows up and she's all horned up. They even made it that apparent. They were shooting that guy and him looking exhausted and then panning down from his head to his his crotch pretty much, and then Liz back there in the tree just smiling like crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he shows up to the house and
Because she wanted a
starts
box move.
flirting with him.
She told someone to tell him she wanted a box move because he says, "You wanted a box move?" She goes, "I can't hear you. I'm up
right.
here." So he goes upstairs
Naked.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Oh," I would have been like, "Fuck, Mr. Dixon." I would have been like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm sorry. I really don't care about. I just started
that guy's
here."
nuts. Stay away from her.
No, I don't know. Yeah, she's in the shower and then she comes out naked. Like, "Oh, can you hand me that towel or whatever?" But this is the problem I had as a kid. I tell you what, a kid should not be watching these things. Yeah, no, kids should not be. This is what my idea was that girls wanted all the time. They were always horny, like because of this. But anyway, so she's like, "Oh my god!" So she drops the towel. She's like, "Do my back." And he's like, "I shouldn't be in here," which he shouldn't. He should have bounced as soon as she was in there. He could be like, he should have ran like "Oh, that guy's crazy. I'm not dealing with my crazy new boss." And he goes and he tells the guys, he goes, "What am I gonna do?" Like, "Oh, she's so hot. Like, I want to bang her so bad." And
oh yeah,
they're like, "Oh, just don't do it. Don't do it." They're like, "Don't do it, kid. You don't want any shit with Dixon. You don't want none of that."
Mm-hmm.
This guy's crazy. And then so Dixon hears some of it, and he grabs somebody's glasses, smashes it, and he says that he found a glove. He's like, "Which one of you is fucking my wife?"
Again, just great intensity about it. Just the way he delivers that line is so great.
And then this guy Ted is like, "Oh." I mean, I would have been like, "It's you, motherfucker, it's you. I know it's you." Because he's sitting there like this. Like, please
Yeah, he
don't.
should have guessed. I think he had already had an idea, but waiting for him to spill the beans.
Yeah. So the black guy, I don't know his name, sorry. He's like, "Hey man, like ain't nobody's glove, like it ain't mine."
Snaz.
So Dixon gets mad again. They all tell him like, "Listen, you changed ever since you got married. You've become like more of an asshole than you ever were. Like you were a pretty cool guy before, but now you're very jealous or whatever." And I guess all the guys are gone from the cabin, and Teddy was like, "I'm out. Like this guy's crazy. I'm not dealing with this. I don't need this."
The only good decision he made, it's like I'm gonna pack my bags and get the fuck out of here.
And they're like, "Listen, you're gonna ruin the whole." Like they care about the tournament more than they care about Teddy or fucking this. I would be like, "You know what? Fuck her, man. I'll be a lookout for you, bro. I've been a lookout before. I'll stay. I'll take Mr. Dixon on. Like I'll take him away.
Take him out to eat.
You just bang her and leave her.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't suggest that.
Because you know what? After he bangs her, she's not gonna want him anymore, unless he was fucking.
It's temporary because she's like. It seemed like to me that she's looking for a better, easier life, and then she just gets bored easily.
Mm-hmm.
On top of the situation she's in, which is pretty good, but the guy is a bit obsessive. But other than that, she's pretty good position, but it's not enough for her. She's gonna keep going, fucking and sucking everybody.
Yeah. So then she shows up at the cabin when he's trying to leave, and she's like, "I need this." Basically, she just tells him like, "I need this."
Yeah, as a matter of fact, is that we're begging, no matter what you do.
Yeah, she's like, "It's not right."
You just have to get it out.
She's like, "I don't care." I think she might have admitted to setting the glove. Like she set it up. I don't know why she would do that, because if she got no excitement from him banging her, from being jealous, right? She hated it. It wasn't fun. Then maybe she just likes fucking with him now to make him mad. But like, he would like, why? If you really do want to bang this guy on the sneak, then why would you want to make him mad and make him aware what you're planning to do? So I don't know. Maybe I could remember like something about the glove was her intention. But anyway, he's like, "No, I think
so. Yeah."
He's like, "No, this is wrong," and she just attacks him like an animal, which I've had happen to me before. Yes, before I looked like Uncle Fester. I was a cute-looking guy with hair, and this older woman fucking jumped on me like an animal. She was 45, I was 20-something. She assaulted me, and it was fun. I was like, I didn't care. I wasn't Teddy. Yeah, I was Teddy after, because Teddy gives in like all men do, and he goes to town on her, and all of a sudden Mr. Dixon shows up, which is different than the comic. The way they did in the comic is much different than they do it here. But
the idea, everything's mostly there, but they change it up a bit.
Yeah. But Mr. Dixon's like, you son of a bitch. And she goes, she lies. This is where she lies. She's like, he forced me. Like, she's scared of him. But there was no, there's also, this is the only thing, another negative thing, but not really. But this is one of them. And I think she gets turned on, right? But it's like, he goes in, he attacks Teddy, right? And she lies. She says, he forced me. But there was nothing prior to this that would indicate she was scared of him. Like, just by getting caught, he was never physical with her. You know what I mean? Like, so there was never a fear that was a fear. That there was never, like, why would she have to lie? Like, in the comic, we know why she lies. It's different. It's totally different than here. In this one, she's lying just because she got caught, but he wasn't physical with her. He still would have kicked, even if she was the one that wanted to bang him. Right? Dixon still would have kicked Teddy's ass. He still would have blamed, well, he kind of did blame her for the way she dressed. But he wasn't physical with her. So that's the only thing. But he fucking throws Dixon all across the room. Beats the living crap out of him. She's watching, and it seems like she's getting turned on by him beating the shit out of the guy she just wanted to bang. I think she's a sadomasochist or something. It's like she likes that more than she likes.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, she likes watching him get mad and beat up people more than she likes banging him anymore, you know? And then Mr. Dixon grabs an axe, and then he swings it with the back end across Teddy's face twice, and pretty much basically blinds Teddy.
It goes in for that final, blow, and just cuts to black, and then just like the comic, you know, he got his ass kicked and he got hit in the head, and you just can't see anymore. Supposedly, became blind.
Yeah, and he's like, maybe it's better to be blind anyway. Like, hey kid, the black guy's name is Snaz. What a name, Snaz.
That's a random name.
Yeah, you're gonna be okay. Don't worry about it. And he's like, you're gonna be in the tournaments. They really care about this.
That part kept making me laugh. Like, how much money they giving for this fucking tournament?
I don't know. It must be a lot of money because they really want to win this tournament. He's like, don't worry, you're gonna.
It's like, let's keep doing it, even though you're blind.
Yeah, you're gonna help us win. And then he's like, how I'm blind? He goes, well, you can't use your axe anymore, obviously, but you could use this chainsaw, right? Like, and he's like, okay, I bet you'll be fast with this chainsaw. But it's all a ruse, pretty much, to get him to. They're upset. They're pissed off. They've had enough of Dixon. They think he's been a fucking asshole too, and that he's changed because of this whore, and that she has no sympathy for what she did. She's such a miserable cunt because she really has no sympathy for forcing, like, lying, not on top of lying. She's tried to seduce him. She wanted it so bad. She put this guy through this hell. I'm surprised Dixon didn't kill him. Why he just left him blind and like, it's okay. And then you're on my thing. What happened to you? But he didn't even tell the police or anything what happened. What, they lied? I don't know. But so he starts cutting the wood, and she does her monologue telling about how, you know, she's like, oh, they're so pathetic, basically. Like, they're teaching him how to, this cripple. Like, I don't want him now because he's blind. He looks the same.
Oh, man.
You know, so then they go to Mr. Dixon. They go, Ted's learned a new trick. You should come see. He goes, I don't give a shit. And then they go, well, you better. And then,
they stick a knife in his throat and just pretty much hold him hostage.
Yeah. And then somehow they managed to do this, which I don't understand, and I don't even understand in the comic. In the comic, I kind of understand it because they have cartoons where there's a piece of log on the floor and it's hollowed out inside. But somehow these guys managed to take two pieces of timber, hollow out the entire middle of the timber, and put Dixon and Liz inside it, right? And they're telling Teddy to cut it, and he's cutting it. They fucking. Also, you see like the debris flying all over the place, and then also starts getting blood and blood and blood, and then you see Mr. Dixon's tied up with his mouth shut, and that's their revenge. I don't know if they won the tournament with doing this, but they're all happy. They're laughing their asses off. They're having a great time watching Dixon die, and then she's next to it like, oh no, I'm next. And that was the episode. It ends like that.
that part I didn't like too much. It got a little bit more campy with like how excited they were about about this, and it made me think about what the implications would be. Are they gonna blame the kid for killing Dixon, or what was there? I know they wanted to get rid of him. They were sick of him, but
I think
it got a little ridiculous because like as he's doing this, 'cause he doesn't feel or notice the blood splattering on his face, and
that's the thing.
everybody else laughing with the blood in their face, and Dixon all gagged up.
That's the only thing I go. I remember we watched it. I says he didn't feel blood. There's a big difference between blood and embers of wood hitting your face.
Right.
You know, but it was.
And he's not wearing goggles, even though he's blind. He's still gonna get fucking debris in his eyes. That was weird.
That was funny, but I was like, whatever. But
yeah.
This is all in all, though. This is. I mean, he probably knew maybe or something because you gotta feel the blood after you stop too. Everyone's all cheering and happy, and then she's up next.
I couldn't tell. His acting was terrible, so I didn't know if like he was excited that he's chopping wood or he's excited that he's killing Dixon. They didn't really make mention because he can't see, so obviously,
I'm
how's he
assuming.
gonna know? But
I'm assuming he was happy. By the way, some of the shots in this episode were they filmed Twin Peaks.
Hell yeah, the connection is there. Yeah, I mean, that was like out. That was during that time that show was still going on.
Yeah, they filmed some locations were same as Twin Peaks. So the comic book, which is the same name, a split second, is basically a shot-for-shot remake, pretty much when you look at it.
For the most part, the only difference is the Liz never got to bang the kid.
Yes.
Ted never got to bang Ted. She got rejected and got mad that she got rejected and just pretty much
lied.
He lied about about her getting about to get raped by Ted and stuff, and then Steve shows up and does what happens in this episode. But that's the main difference there. I think I like the comic version a little bit better because at least they both got their comeuppance, and Liz didn't really flip flop like the way the episode did, because like some of the things she was doing, like you said, didn't make sense. Like after all that she's seen, why is she taking the big risk and having Steve find out that she's banging somebody? And it seemed like she got off on it, but didn't really get clear indications about that. Well, but at least this one was more straightforward, that she got rejected and got mad and pretty much got Ted involved in this with Steve and blinded him.
Yeah, but it's I can understand why somebody would see this and be like, oh, I want to do that comic. That was
It's a cool story. Yeah, I do like at least they try to add their own little different take to it. You know what I thought it was gonna end up being? Like I thought that it was gonna be like she loved getting off on him killing dudes because he's jealous. I thought that was how I was gonna go. I would have actually preferred that, but didn't necessarily go that way.
Yeah, but I like both. I think they changed it enough in the show where it's okay, even though it is better in the comic in the sense where he just didn't want anything to do with her. Like that's better because he's rejected. Like she's like nobody wants to talk to her.
I felt bad for Ted more in the comic than in the show because he knew what he was getting into, and he stuck his dick in trouble. So
yeah, she got to, the reason why in the show she's coming to him is because he's ready to leave. He's like, no, I can't do this. She wants to bang me, and I don't want Dixon anything to do with Dixon. I'm leaving. I'm not gonna cause any more trouble for anybody. I'm getting out of here. And then she's like, she knows he's leaving. She's like, I'm banging you before you leave. Like, I don't care. I want it bad. And then she assaults him, and he just goes with it because he can't resist her either because she's a sexy woman. In the comic, she's an older woman. He's 18 years old. He wants nothing to do with her because he doesn't want to fuck up anything. He likes that he just got this job, And she's like, oh yeah? Like she's the second time she's rejected by him. She's rejected by him in the comic once before too. Like she approaches him and she's giving the hints and he's not getting it because he's too young. He's not understanding that she's trying to bang him. So she's like, what an idiot. She's like, this stupid idiot doesn't get the signals I'm giving him. So he's like, so the next time she goes, no, I'm going to get it now. Now I'm going to get it. And she tries to, and he's like, listen, lady, I don't want nothing to do with you. And she's like, oh, yeah? So help me. And then, you know, and then instead of the axe, which it's so stupid that he used the axe in the episode. I thought that was dumb. He could have, like...
Yeah, because they could have killed him.
Yeah. Because he used the axe and made him blind. Like, in the comic, it's a rock. He grabbed a rock and he beat him and made him blind. Then they saw this and they grabbed him away. In the episode, Dixon would have killed him. Why would Dixon stop? Yeah, there's nobody there to help the kid. So, but I like them both. I think what they did, I think the changes they made were okay. It kind of works. You know, you're not supposed to think too much about it. And it was a good adaptation by a good writer who worked on things, which I like. I like when they have good writers and not their friends that want a credit on IMDb. You know?
Yeah, some AD. You know, getting the chance to direct this one thing.
Yeah.
And that's all he did in his career.
Yeah. But darn it, I gotta go get that again. Anyway, yeah, so I forget, I would give this 4 out of 5 stars. I liked it enough.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's one I've don't mind rewatching here and there.
Yeah.
I think just given everything we got, some of the few small gripes we had. Yeah, I know I'm not supposed to think about it too much, but I think it's a solid adaptation. I'm not sure if I liked it as much as you did, but I think I give it a good solid 3 out of 5 for sure. I think that's
I think I like her.
I think that's how I feel about that one.
I like her more than anything in the episode, and Mr. Dixon. The rest of them, but it's a fun episode. And coming off of the last episode's morning mess, you know, undertaking pallor.
Oh man,
those are like, this season is really rough, you know, really rough, and I don't know, it's sad because it started out so.
It's got a few bumps in the road,
Yeah.
but you know there's some decent ones after. Well, no, I'm thinking, what do we got? We got 3 episodes left this season. Oh man.
Yeah, let's see, because I don't think I remember the next one, and the one after that I do remember, and I'm not a fan that much of it. It goes into the Switch territory, but the Switch worked for some reason, even though it's ridiculous. It just felt like it just felt comic booky.
Yeah,
but
that
good.
one was
like,
that one was more ridiculous.
This one, the one that's coming up, one, this one's more ridiculous. And then the 14th episode, which is the last episode this season. We'll talk about that when that comes. But anyway, if you're out there listening, thank you for listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, remember to hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new here and you've gotten this far. Share this with somebody who might like it. And also, if you are listening to this on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Amazon, anywhere, Audible, we're on Audible. If you're listening to us anywhere, please give us a rating. It would help if you like this. Please, there's some people that hate us. I know, but if you like us, please, hey, even if you hate us, leave a rating and a comment. It actually does help the algorithms and more people will see us. So if you guys are looking for us on YouTube or Rumble or Odyssey or BitChute, just look up Creeps of the Crypt or Ghost Crusaders TV. That's the channel that the Creeps of the Crypt podcast video format is on. Also on Rumble as well. That's just search Ghost Crusaders TV. You can also see us on X at Creeps of Crypt or at Ghost Crusader TV. So yeah, that's that. You guys check out ghostcrusadersmerch.com. We have cool t-shirts up there you might actually like. And if you want, pick one out because it does help us out too. Anyway, that's that. We will talk to you guys next time.
Peace.